Okay, so again, welcome. Today we wanted to give you a little bit of information about healthy holiday eating. I know when we think about it, it's probably the last thing we want to talk about. You know, the holidays are there for fun and relaxation, but just to give you, hopefully, by the end, you'll have at least one thing you think you could do throughout the holiday season to still be able to celebrate and enjoy, but also be mindful of your health as well. So there's research out there that people gain between 1 and 5 pounds over the holidays. So hopefully it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but there's also research saying that people have a really hard time getting rid of that extra pound or two, and it may, it may stick with you for the rest of the year or beyond. So if you think of gaining a pound a year for 20 years, you're talking about 20 pounds over the course of your life, so or more. So just kind of something to keep in mind that really we're looking at trying to help you maintain where you're at and just make some healthy choices as well during the holidays while you're still having some fun. Okay, let's move along here. There we go. So I'm just starting with the basics, and I think most of you probably know a little bit about this already, but food is giving us energy that we need to do just about everything in our life. So being active, working, playing, sleeping, all that we need energy for. And of course, we get that energy from the food that we eat and the beverages that we drink. So some of the things we want to consider, and again, this is basics. If you think about the MyPlate, really talking about fueling your body with some of those nutritionally dense foods. So try to get a balance throughout the holidays. You know, there's so much good stuff around. So it's hard to remember to get some of those good things in as well, and really think about the foods that you're eating. Remember healthy carbohydrates. So fruits are a good opportunity to have a little bit of that sweetness, but still it's a healthy carbohydrate. Veggies, of course, we do a lot of creative things with veggies. We've seen all those different things that they're doing with cauliflower these days, so you can be creative and still get some healthy carbohydrates in there. And then, of course, whole grains, which lots of options there as well. Just a reminder about some of those high quality proteins. So remembering lean meats, beans, eggs, and low-fat dairy. Try to choose those over some of the other things. I know sausage or summer sausage and things like that are really common at some of the parties you might go to. So try to balance that out as well. And then of course, healthy unsaturated fats, if you have those available, choosing the olive oil over some other options. Nuts and seeds will also give you some of those healthy fats that you need. So kind of, and nuts should be an easy one. And there seems to be a lot of things made with nuts throughout the holidays. So a good choice for you to look for. The other thing to remember is combining the protein and carbohydrate can help you feel fuller. So that protein kind of keeps you feeling fuller a little longer, so you don't feel like you have to go back and eat something right away. And then on the flip side, and I'm going to use my mom as an example, she always feels guilty about snacking. So she always has to be really regimented about when she's eating and what she's eating. So just a reminder that it's not a bad thing to have a snack. And sometimes you may need to eat every 3 to 4 hours to keep yourself feeling full. And that way you don't come to a meal so hungry that you're just shoving stuff in and you're not even realizing what you're eating. So don't be afraid to plan a snack, have a snack, or look at eating every 3 to 4 hours. Another newer concept, you may have heard of this as well, but just something I felt was really important, especially during the holidays, is to try to eat mindfully. So what mindful eating is just kind of paying more attention to be more aware of what it is that you're eating. And research has shown that that can be a reliable tool in weight management. So there's more information out there about eating mindfully if you're interested. I just put a few things down here for you to consider. So being mindful of how hungry you are. Again, I think as adults especially, we tend to think it's noon, I need to eat. It's time to eat. Not necessarily that you're having hunger, feelings of hunger, but more like it's a habit or something you feel obligated to do at that certain time. So just kind of be aware of your hunger cues again. It's something we kind of lose as we get into adulthood, but really pay attention to that again. When you're eating, really make that the event and the activity that you're doing. So again, it's so easy to have phones and TV and, maybe you're doing some work while you're eating. I think we're all guilty of that in the office. But just kind of, taking a few minutes and letting eating be what you're doing at that moment and really be able to be mindful of that. Eat before you get too hungry. I think we mentioned that already. You want to make sure that you're taking the time and that you are doing some of the tips we talked about already, as far as mixing the protein and the carbohydrate and eating regularly. And that way you won't get too hungry. I think we probably have all experienced that. Even going into the grocery store hungry, you just like grab 6 snacks and are shoveling it in and on the way home, or at least that happens to me occasionally. So just being mindful of not of eating before you get too hungry. Another important one is enjoying the quality, not the quantity. And I think especially around the holidays, where we have some of those maybe family favorites or once in a year treats that we make, it's really important to look at, I don't need to eat 10 of these, but I really need to have a couple, quality bites of whatever it is. Also, be mindful of your calorie budget. So we don't want to completely eliminate the idea of calories. We know that that's really the in and the out for weight and for your energy. So really being mindful of that calorie budget and thinking about the food you have in front of you. And no offense to chocolate chip cookies, but I'm going to use that as an example. So chocolate chip cookies, are pretty much a standard any time of the year kind of treat. So maybe there's some special peppermint cheesecake that your family makes. And you want to look at that and say, do I need to eat the chocolate chip cookie now? Or is it better that I would save my calories for this special dessert that only comes around once a year? So kind of look at that as far as your calorie budget. And then as far as eating, the actual act of eating, really be mindful of the taste, the texture, and the smell. Again, we talked about making that part of the event. So really take the time. You may have something that you eat all the time and you really love, and you take a bite and you're really focused on it and you think, well, I really don't like this. And I know that has happened to me a few times. Like, this is not really a pleasant taste and I'm just eating it because it's here or because we're used to it. So take the time to really think about that. If you have kids, this is kind of a great activity for them as well. Talk to them about the taste, ask them about the texture and the smell of foods, and really be mindful and teach them some of those tips as well. And then of course, eating slowly. And I know this is one I am, and probably all of us are guilty of at certain points, is, you're just ready to go on to the next thing and really but instead take the time to eat slowly. Some people have tips where they say, set the fork down, or, do something else in between, whether it be, some people have games that they play at the table. If that's, if you want to take a pause and talk about your day or something like that, just remember to eat slowly. There's not a race. And this kind of works along with you making the time to eat and taking the time to have eating be the activity you're engaged in. There are a lot of other tips about eating mindfully and information you can find. I did in the chat, if you go back up to the top, there is a little information about a PDF that you can access if you are interested. I thought I had a copy. Or you can just email me and I can send you that as well. So, but definitely eating mindfully over the holidays is a really important tip. Portion sizes. So I think this comes probably any time of the year. We always want to look at portion size. It's really as important as what you're eating. So just a couple of tips with as far as portion size, and you may have your own things that you do to kind of keep yourself within those portions. But try filling your plate with the fruits and veggies before adding other foods. That means that's just making sure you get some of those really key nutrients that you need from the fruits and veggies right away. And of course, those tend to be a little lower in the calories as well. Read labels for information on serving size and calories. It can be really alarming sometimes when you're looking at food labels and you have a package like maybe just a granola bar and you think this is one serving, but then you look at the information and it's actually 2 servings or 3 servings or whatever it is. So where it might say 100 calories per serving, but in your 1 bar, you're actually getting 2.5 servings. So you're at 250 calories where you thought you were only at 100. So those labels are really important to give you that information. The other thing with portion size is start small, because you can always go back and get more. But with some of the mindful eating tips, going slowly and really focusing on food, you may find that that smaller size portion is enough to keep you satisfied. So start small, go back for more if you need it. And this is great for kids too, as well. It kind of helps them to not get overwhelmed by the amount of stuff on their plates, just to start small and give them more if they need it. And then of course, you may have all heard of the portion size estimate. Sometimes we think of a portion as whatever we scoop onto our plate, and you may have a big spoon. So we want to be mindful of what an actual portion might look like. So I do have some tips here. I'm going to scroll to the next page. Using your hand to guess what amount of food you're choosing. So your fist is about a cup. So that would be about 1 ounce of cereal or a cup of other foods. You can see the palm of your hand is about 3 ounces. So if you're looking at that for meat, and thumb, so you can see they have a line where your thumb ends is about the same as 1 ounce of cheese. And then a small handful of nuts or shredded cheese is about 1 ounce. And so your palm is kind of doing the measuring for you. So that's kind of just one way you can look at portions. If you're really intrigued by this, take a couple days and measure things out. I think you'll be surprised at how much it actually is that you're serving, or maybe how less it is than what you thought you were getting. I think sometimes with vegetables that works, where you think you're getting so many vegetables, but you're really not getting as much as you think. And this handout is available too if you're interested. So then I just had a few other tips, and I'm hoping that you guys will be able to share a few too, but we talked about a little bit about this, but fit in your favorites. So make sure that if there's something you've been looking forward to, or you see at a party that you really want to try, make that the priority, and then maybe go a little less on some things that you have, like maybe you don't need to have chips because you want to have this particular other item, and you can cut something out in place of the favorite. Another thing you can try is using smaller plates. So then it looks like you're getting so much on this smaller plate, and your mind is kind of fooled into thinking you're getting all this extra, but really it's just a good amount of food for you. Try ingredient substitutions. I know we're all doing a lot of baking and cooking and different things. So there are a ton of different things you can substitute. Butter, of course, there's different options for that. Trying things like avocado or applesauce, pumpkin puree, Greek yogurt, all of these are different things you could use as far as baking to substitute some of the butter. And some people do half butter and half of something else, and some people can do, some recipes you can go ahead and replace the whole thing. It's just depends on what the texture is and things like that. So really consider some of those options as far as the substitutions. And I mean, this can cover the whole gamut of your cooking. Don't go to an event hungry. I know that might sound maybe a little backwards, but if you're going to something, especially like a buffet or a party where you think there's going to be open hors d'oeuvres, have a snack ahead of time. Again, we talked in a few different ways about how important it is to not get too hungry when you're ready to eat. So this might be something you want to think about is before an event, maybe have some carrots and dip or something, or a little bit of a snack that you can have so you're not going in ravenously hungry. And then if you're hosting the event, be sure that you are offering healthy options as well. If you're concerned about having something at a party, other people will be as well. So if you can do a fruit tray or veggie tray, just be mindful of offering some of those healthier options. Cooking methods are another thing to consider. So of course, for the holidays, maybe your family likes deep fried, chicken or whatever it is. Think about other ways you can cook some of your foods, different methods. So like broiling or steaming, things like that. So there's some lower fat ways you can choose to cook your foods and kind of consider those as you're preparing your meals. I just wanted to see if anyone else had other tips that they've been using, and if you want to either pop them in the chat or unmute yourself and shout out if there's anything you do that you can share with us.
Hi, Sherry.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well. I think this was a great presentation. Thank you for taking the time to put this together. I think it was a great reminder to ourselves that, to keep mindful eating in your head when you're going out to all the parties and the potlucks at work and the get-togethers. I think it's important to also, when you're hosting, to offer those healthy options, and that to be mindful that not everybody drinks soda. So to have water available, or like less sugary drinks. And I know a lot of, our family members are diabetic. So just to be mindful of our family members that are diabetic, and to offer sugar-free desserts as well. I think that's a good idea. And it is hard to, not pick at everything and just grab all of the chocolate, because everybody has all the chocolate covered nuts and the cookies and the cakes, and that your favorite dessert that your Aunt Jackie makes once a year that like goes instantly, that people eat before even eating dinner. It is just a nice reminder for everyone to, you don't have to eat everything that you see, and to also, pace yourself. Like you don't have, it's not a marathon. You don't have to, eat like you're going to go out and party for days on end, but it's hard to not eat all of those things, but also hard to manage to juggle, making your kids a plate and making plates for everybody else, your elders and everything. But I think it's a good reminder to, let your elders eat first, and to make sure that you have healthy choices for your kids to choose, and to not force them to eat anything that they don't want to eat at the same time. Everything was good. I appreciate all the information. It's all stuff that, we already know, but it just slips our mind. And the holidays, everyone wants to eat everything, but after you eat all that stuff, you never feel good. Like it doesn't make you feel good to be like all sluggish and overfilled, and you don't have to do it. Just so, yeah, that mindfulness to keep on track, and to have that also in the back of your mind. Everyone has that New Year's resolution that's right around the corner that they want to get in. And a lot of the times it's, I want to lose weight, I want to eat better, and you don't have to wait till the first to start that. You can start that on any day at any time. And just to encourage everyone to also be mindful of your breastfeeding parents that are also there, to offer them water, or offer them a place to sit, or if they may seem uncomfortable when it's time to, when their baby's getting fussy and they're looking for a place to nurse, just to have that place set aside already to encourage them if they don't want to nurse their baby in front of the entire family, that that's okay as well. But also let them know that it's not a problem. Thanks, Sherry.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you brought that up because that's something we don't always think about is the breastfeeding aspect. And not only that, but for moms to have that space, but also, you know, they need healthy snacks for themselves as well. And I think you hit on a really great point about, you know, we have a lot of family members with diabetes or pre-diabetes. And so really being mindful of what is available for them. You know, you want them to be comfortable as well. And I think that's a really important piece that when we consider some of the things we're putting forward, that we really have a good balance. And I think the eating mindfully is something we can do all year round. So I think trying to get ourselves into that idea is really important. And I think, I know there's a lot of stuff, like you said, chocolate. As we walk down the hallway in our office, there's a candy dish here, a candy dish there, a 3-tiered candy dish. So it's like everywhere. So really being, you know, treat yourself for sure. I mean, we're not saying you can't do it, but there's ways that you can balance with other things. So, oh, I'm going to read, we have a comment. Yeah, being diabetic, I have had I try to have favorites for the holidays for me to get the cravings out of the way and maybe sneak a little here and there, and then the sugar goes up. I am the only one diabetic in my family. So that is definitely a challenge because, you know, the family is used to having all these things. So, you know, trying to make things that still taste good for them, but are healthy for you, I think it is a really important thing to work on. But I also think we as family members want to be supporting you or want to be supporting those in our family. And so it's kind of on us to do that as well. So hopefully we've got some ideas for you. I'm going to jump forward. If there's any other comments or options or tips that you have, feel free to keep adding those into the chat. I know Sunshine mentioned beverages and water, so I wanted to throw that in as well. The importance of watching what you're drinking as well. It tends to, I think, leave our mind that these actually have calories. Eggnog, for example, one of the holiday staples, and not a fan of eggnog myself, but I know I'm not knocking it, but there's a lot of calories. So 1 cup of eggnog has 343 calories. So certainly something you can treat yourself to, but just be aware of the calories in those beverages and watch the portion. Maybe you decide to have half a cup instead and you want something else. So, but really important for everyone to stay hydrated still. So be sure you have water available and balance that with some of the other things you might drink. And then the other piece, just to quickly go through this as well, and probably not at all a surprise to anybody, but besides the calories that we're taking in with food, we want to expend some of the calories, so burn a little bit more energy when we're taking in a little bit more energy during the holidays. So we know that the more you sit, the higher your risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and some of the other health conditions are. So moving more is really important. And we're not talking it's time to start training for a marathon. You know, these can be small little things that you do just to be a little more active each day. So I have just a couple on the screen. Take a lap around the building or your house. Take a short standing stretch break every half an hour that you might be sitting. Commercial breaks. I know there's tons of holiday movies right now. So at the commercial, get up and walk in place or do jumping jacks, whatever it is. Anything easy, or even some of the, there's a lot of chair activities. So if you're not able to put a lot of pressure on your legs or have hip or knee issues, you can still be active within your chair. And there's different things you can do for chair exercises too. At work, create active meetings. So if you're able to take this, you know, get up and walk and talk at the same time, take the stairs if you have that option, and take the long way to the restroom. I know here we have kind of a circular building, so you can take a whole loop around and hit one of the restrooms on the way. So whatever you can do to sit less and move more. And again, we're looking at you setting a goal that's reasonable for you. So if it's for you to try to move 10 minutes a day, That's great. We want you to start small so that you can really be successful at it. And then, you know, with the holidays and people being around and all these activities happening, we really want you to be mindful of this as well. So creating a plan. It might be just getting the kids and dancing to the music, challenging family and friends to walk every day. You know, whatever it is to make that plan so that you stick to that. Some people may just need to remember to keep their regular activity, or maybe they'll just take one day off, but maintain the rest of their activity throughout the holidays. So there are opportunities in the holidays to do some fun, interesting things with your family. So I definitely think dancing is the easiest one. You can, you know, do that anywhere and everywhere. So this is the end of the part that I am going to do. And we have a couple of our nutrition educators that have put together some healthy holiday snacks for you. And so I see, I'm going to check in to see who's ready. Larkin, did you want to go first? Let's see if we can.
Hey, sorry. Yes. I just exported my video. I couldn't upload like a portion of it, but it's kind of fun. There's
Okay.
like a lot of weird digital tracks, but I don't know exactly how I can add it on here because I'm not the like the person that is the
Hold
mediator.
on, let me make you host.
Okay.
I'll make you co-host. So then you should be able to do what you need to do. Are you able to then share the screen and then play your video?
Yeah. Okay. Breakout room.
What did it do? Maybe I need to make you a host, not a co-host.
Yeah. All I have right now is breakout rooms.
Okay.
That. Yeah.
Okay, now you're the host, so you should be able to share your screen. Is it showing that in green?
Yeah. Share screen. Oh, okay. Cool. Right on.
And so I'm thinking if you share that, then you can bring your video up and we'll all be able to.
All right. Are you able to see that?
Not yet.
Not yet. Anything there?
Uh-uh.
Okay.
What format is it in? Did you want to send it to me? Or are you able to send it to me or?
Yes, I can. Let me do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll try to learn that another time.
Okay.
Wow, my hair is so crazy right now. I look like I had a blow.
Is it
dry
hat
my-
season? I mean, that's usually what happens when I take off my hat, so.
Yeah, totally. I also gave myself a mullet, so I'm kind of turning, or my hair's growing into a bowl. So it just kind of sometimes looks like ununiform. So I don't know.
Hey, Cassie, do you want to walk through your stuff while we're waiting? And I'll see if I can get Larkins up.
Yeah, I'm about to send it,
Okay.
but yeah, Cassie should do that too.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, I can go through. I'm gonna leave my my screen off because I am over on the big screen, but like the computer or the camera's on the little laptop. So
Oh, okay.
If
Are
it's
you able
okay.
to share your stuff? Does it let you
I
share your
should
screen?
be able to share my screen. Let me see.
Okay.
Let me exit the full screen. Let's see, or maybe I have to Share screen. Let's see. Do this one. Can you see that?
Yep, it says it started to share. There you go.
Okay. So, what I made was some Grinch. Well, Heidi and I both prepared it together. It's some Grinch in a Santa hat. So it's a little fun, small little snack you can make for the holidays. It can generally make a lot, just depends how many grapes and strawberries you buy. I know strawberries are a little bit expensive now because of the season. But yesterday I was at the youth center and we actually tried full frozen strawberries and they work pretty well. They're not too mushy if you like let them thaw out just a little bit, but don't completely let them thaw out because then they get really mushy. So that's if you wanted to use frozen berries instead of fresh berries. So all you would need for this one is some grapes, one preferably green so you can make them look more like a Grinch. And then you get your strawberries and you slice up your bananas. Here we just added like a whole thing of strawberries, like about a pound of grapes, I want to say, and then like, was it one banana. So we just slice those up in little thin slices, and then you just get your little toothpicks. So step one, you just want to poke the toothpick through the grape, and you want to let a little room there so that you can add on your strawberries and bananas. And then step two, you just add your banana slices, and then you just add your strawberry on top. It's optional that you can cut. So usually the recipe calls for a mini marshmallow, but just to make it a little bit more healthier, we just kind of sliced the slice of banana that we already had into 4 pieces and added it to the top to kind of make the little snowball puff on the end of Santa hat. So that's all you need. It's very simple, and we made about like, I don't know, like 20 of these. So they can last quite a while, and everyone really liked them and enjoyed them. The only thing is the bananas do kind of get a little bit brown, so might want to plan out when you want to put them out. And then for our second one, so we had some strawberries left over. We just made Grinch heart smoothies. So in this recipe, I just used, if you go to choosemyplate.gov and you go into their My Recipes, they have a simple green smoothie, which pretty much is, it makes 2 servings and it's pretty inexpensive. So all you need was spinach or kale, your type of fruit. We just had mangoes. Our store was very limited on fresh fruit and frozen berries and stuff like that. So just to keep it green too, I just added mangoes. Then you have a green apple and a banana. And for this one, we only used about like 3 strawberries. Then we just had Greek yogurt and your choice of milk. For this one, we had low fat milk or fat-free milk, sorry. And so all you want to do is just throw them all in the blender. And then once they blend, you add a little bit so that you can put the strawberries there. So you want to add a little bit of green smoothie first, and then you want to cut your strawberries into a heart shape, and they can be little thin slices, which we did. So I think we only used 1 strawberry for this one, but they can make about like 5 cups only with 1 strawberry, just depending how thin you cut the slices. And then after that, you set your strawberry in there, and then you pour the rest of your green smoothie in. I also included a slide that kind of shows how I made the heart berries. I could have probably done that first, but so all you want to do is just cut the stems off, and then afterwards you just kind of slant it into the middle, and then you do the same on the other side. You can go around and kind of shape it more into like rounded shapes on the edges, but they come out pretty. They pretty much look like a heart after anyways. So that's all you do, and that's all I have for right now. And also I did this with the youth yesterday and they really enjoyed it. So I mean, it's really kid friendly. The kids were a little thrown off with the spinach, but I had to promise them that they will not taste it. One kid was really he was like, I can taste spinach, which was a lie, but majority of the kids didn't even know that was in there until they looked in the bag and saw that it was there. So super kid friendly. So that's all I have.
Okay, those are so cool. Yeah, I had that on my list to mention that these are really easy recipes that you can do with pretty much any age group. So, and I think Cassie, your age group at the youth center extends pretty much through the elementary age, right? So, you know, there's always something that they can do, whether it's slicing or adding or, you know, even pulling stuff out of packages and things like that. So easy way for kids to be involved in there. And I think we did include those in the when we emailed the recipes out, you should have gotten those. So let's see. And I think I have got Larkin's thing here. So let me see if I can pull this up. Oops, where did it go? Okay, hold on 1 minute. Oops, I must have it open up here somewhere already. Oh, it's telling me something went wrong. Oh, wait, let me, here we go. Of course, typical
Computers.
issues.
So
No matter how much you want to be prepared.
is everything all right then, or should I, there were two options and one was like a view and another one was the actual file. But if you're able to pull it up, that's cool.
Okay, I'm trying to open it here. Where did it go? So I did download it somewhere. It just isn't telling me where. Oh, here we go. Okay, let's see if I can connect this to you guys now. Share screen. Oops. Okay, why don't I do the other one while we're trying to get Larkins up here? Because I know we
You
have
might be
another one.
going through like the same thing that I was, where if you were sharing screen, you click photo, but it's not enlarged, it like has a hard time reading it. I don't know. Maybe that's not what you're doing, but I noticed.
All right, let me see if I can share this one here. Okay, so this is the gingerbread granola, and I'm going to pause it for just a sec. And the recipe, you may notice that it says gluten-free, but I know Casey may mention this in the video, but you do not have to use gluten-free products if you don't want to, if you don't have those. So, all right, here we go. And this recipe was sent out as well.
Hi, I'm Casey Rosemary, dietitian with the Sacred Muncie community. Today, we are going to make some gingerbread granola as a Christmas treat. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is get out a large sheet pan, and you can either put a piece of parchment paper over it or spray it down with some cooking spray or put a little butter on just so your granola doesn't stick. Next, we'll move on to our dry ingredients. So we have oatmeal, which is a whole grain, and you can buy that with your WIC benefits. So you can add that. I already have that in my bowl, 2 cups. And then we also have 2 cups of walnuts. Lastly, in our dry mix, we have our spices. So we have ginger, cloves, allspice, and nutmeg, all added in there. You can see the recipe for the ingredient amounts. So next, we're gonna move on to our liquid ingredients. So I have a 1/4 cup of coconut oil in here. I'm just gonna microwave this till it's liquid. It usually comes in a solid form. So I will microwave that and be right back. Okay, so as you can see, now our oil has melted down to a liquid. It's nice clear liquid. So next we're going to add our sweeteners. So we have maple syrup and molasses, a 1/4 cup of maple syrup and 2 tablespoons of molasses. That'll give this granola that nice gingerbread flavor. So once you have that in there, we
Sherry, the audio muted as soon as you muted yourself.
Is that better?
And mix it together.
Yep.
You just
Okay.
wanna mix it so that all the dry ingredients are coated with the wet ingredients.
So I think you guys probably got the gist, but I'll just back up so you can catch the stuff that I muted on you. Sorry about that.
Add that in your liquid ingredients and give that a stir. And then we'll pour it over our dry ingredients. And mix it together. You just want to mix it so that all the dry ingredients are coated with the wet ingredients. So we are going to next put this on our sheet pan that we just prepared and pop it in a 300-degree preheated oven. So you can do that at the beginning. And bake it for about 25 to 30 minutes until it's nice and crispy. So just spread it out over your baking sheet. And kind of form it into a flat layer so that it cooks all evenly. Okay, now we'll pop this in our oven for 25 to 30 minutes at 300 degrees and we'll be back with the final product. Okay, we have our granola taken out of the oven. You're gonna wanna let the granola cool for a while and then it'll crisp up and then you can break it into pieces. So once it's cool enough to touch, it should be crispy. You can break it into a few pieces and then it's ready to enjoy. You can store this in an airtight container just out at room temperature for a couple months. So I hope you all enjoy this Christmas recipe and I hope you have a happy holidays. Thank you.
So I'm just gonna leave it on this because this is great. It's they have the last slide just talking about how you can use granola. It's whole grains. You can, mix and match different granolas, adding fruits or not. So really a good option for you. So excellent recipe. And we did, like I said, we did send the recipe with that with the invite to you. But if you do need those, let me know. I can easily send those out as well. Okay, I'm gonna try this again, see if we can get this last one. Oops, I'm still sharing a bunch of things here, huh? Okay. Larkin, I see you've got your screen up. Are you able to share or I keep hitting mine, but it doesn't seem to play anything.
Yes, I'm going to it right now.
Okay.
You can get there. All right, it's up and ready. Cool.
Yes, I mean, sorry.
All right, cool. Well, I decided to make a ham. It's kind of a long story around it, but every year Red Cliff receives hams yeah, everyone receives hams or turkeys and they get like a slip. And I think that it's funded by all the departments as a Christmas kind of gift and stuff. But then I ended up receiving a ham because I volunteered for a gift drive. And there were some Cherokee people that came up and they brought some stuff from churches and other donations in Oklahoma. And we don't, and so anyways, I got a free ham out of it. So I decided to do a ham, and then hopefully I think it's kid friendly because they can be the ones to put the Wojapi compo over. But I made please correct me if I'm wrong. It is Wojapi, right? Or Wojapi. But it's a blueberry compote. So it's just boiled down blueberries. And Sean Sherman and I guess it's forgetting what the name of their restaurant is, but they do a lot of stuff with like berry compotes and things. So this thing is attached to my, okay, so here we go. And it's kind of funny, but let's do it.
I think Larkin has to turn on her mic for the sound to go.
Hey, Larkin, you still there? Can you unmute yourself during this? Or was there no sound?
So I muted it
Okay,
and now I just turned the mic back on. But what was happening?
we just
Oh,
weren't
I think
hearing, we weren't hearing anything.
Oh, maybe I have to share this.
I heard something just a minute, so whatever you just did, it was good.
Oh, okay, cool, right on. That makes sense. Do you want to start over then?
Yes, please.
All right, well, so there are a couple kinks in that, but I actually put 1 tablespoon and I showed a picture of the teaspoon for the cornstarch. So it's 1 teaspoon of cornstarch. And I couldn't find the like duration for each clip. So things were slowed down in a very epic way, but I thought it worked well with the digital kind of crazy sound in the background, but that's it.
Hey, that was cool. And I like that you use blueberries because like we were talking about ways to, increase fruits and veggies and also make it diabetic friendly. So definitely. Hey, it looks pretty good. Did you guys eat that then? You ate that then?
No, everyone was just everyone was like, I don't know if I've ever had a fruity ham before, but I've been trying to push them on it. And I said, hey, we could make pancakes with it. But, I dropped it off at a friend's house and they messaged me and really enjoyed it. So.
Oh, cool. Good. Hey, there's always pineapple on ham, so they need to expand their horizons a bit. Okay, so that is the end of our demonstration part here. Thank you to Larkin and Cassie, Casey, and Anita. Great, we really appreciate it. It's kind of nice to see some hands-on stuff. It gives us some ideas and livens up the presentation, of course. So were there any questions? Does anyone have any questions or concerns? If you have any other tips you wanted to share with anyone or anything like that?
I can mention was it the Christmas trees we did with the kids? The pizza Christmas trees.
Oh, yes.
So I don't have a picture with me, but we made some cold veggie pizzas, but instead like we made them kind of to look like Christmas trees. So I purchased cauliflower pizza crust. I accidentally burned it, so we didn't even get to use that. But they make these really nice, super thin whole wheat pizza crusts. So we just kind of we got a package of those. They come in threes. What I did was just kind of heat them up for like less than 5 minutes, just so that they're kind of cooked, and then cut them into triangles and had the kids pretty much decorate them with cream cheese. But the cream cheese, I added green food dye, so it looked kind of greenish. So what they did is just spread the cream cheese onto the pizza triangles and added their veggies, which was broccoli. I had them try bell peppers, which they really did enjoy. So we just kind of cut little sweet bell peppers into little small pieces. They added cheese and cauliflower. So they got to decorate the tree how they wanted. And I made sure there was all 3 colors of peppers. So green, or 4, I should say, green, orange, yellow, and red. So they got to try that out and kind of cut them into little pieces. We have these kid-friendly knives, which are like plastic knives. So the kids got to cut everything on their own and everything like that. And we got everything but the bagel seasoning to kind of give it a little more taste. So they sprinkled a bunch of that. Oh, not a bunch, but a little bit on each slice. And then they ate it and they really enjoyed it. They said that was one of their favorite veggie meals or snack, I should say, that they've had. So it is kid friendly.
And Cassie did post some pictures, was that last week or 2 weeks ago, on her Facebook page, which is SnapEd is it SnapEd at GLITC?
Yeah, it's backwards, but yeah, so I did post some pictures. Or there is some on my Glitzy Cassie Garcia. So there's some pictures there from that.
And the kids looked like they were thrilled with what they made. I mean, they really looked like they were having a good time, and everybody's tree was a little different, so it was really cute. So, okay, any other last comments, suggestions, or other snacks you wanted to mention?
I have a nice, I guess it's not like vegetable related, but it's still revolved around more natural sugars. But we did a pizza party and at the high school with a wood fire oven that the 3rd graders built like a couple years ago, and they built a couple. And so we did a 5 food groups like pizza party, but there was some tea and maple syrup on the side. And I found this really cool recipe where if you like pour maple syrup on the snow and let it sit for a little bit, it'll harden into maple syrup sugar candy. And I was so concerned that the kids were gonna pour out all of the maple syrup on the snow. And we had a couple more classes to go and they were just like, give me, give me, give me, give me. And this one kid drew a $sign with the maple syrup. But yeah, if you let it sit, it does work if you like actually have patience, but it does turn into this really tasty, like kind of gelatinous gummy, but more watery, I guess. It's pretty fun. It's a fun activity to get in some natural, like healthier sugars and still enjoy a treat.
Plus getting the kids part of the cooking and getting them outside in the snow. So yeah, great idea. It sounds good.
I had one more thing to add for like a healthier recipe was to incorporate maybe some more of your traditional foods at your holiday dinner party. A couple years ago, I made a white corn berry salad. And so we soaked the white corn in sassafras tea overnight, which gave that a nice like a sweeter taste. And then mixed blueberries and strawberries and walnuts, and then drizzled it with maple syrup. So that was really good. It was a big hit, and just trying to, incorporate more of your traditional foods to bring back that food sovereignty to your families, and encourage them to, get back to their traditional roots and take those things back. Anything with wild rice and berries, and like Larkin said, maple syrup really is a healthier way to add that more natural sugar. And then also for just like mentally during the dinner time, to not, allow your family members that you don't see very often affect you if they comment on, how much food is on your plate, or if you're getting up to get something else, because, that can really take a toll on you mentally. And just to not be able, just not to never mind them, because you may already, be anxious and waiting for them to say something, but who cares, that they have to comment or say anything about anyone, how much someone's eating or their weight. It is a stressful time, but just to like be mindful for that. Also vice versa, that, you might be saying some things jokingly to your siblings or your cousins, like they're going to eat another piece of pie or anything, but even if it's jokingly, it still hurts to say those things. And it's fun to joke around, but mentally it doesn't make anybody feel good. So just to be mindful of those things both ways. Thank you.
I feel like a funny joke to make lessen if someone commented on like how much food you put on a plate during the holidays. I guess that happens all the time, and I've reverted to joking, but you'd maybe just, if they like touch or not like touch, pat them on the back and be like, hey, I know you always don't grab enough, so I grabbed some more for you. We'll see. If you need some, just let me know.
One thing that we do in my family, and it's coincidental that wild rice is very traditional in the Native American culture, but in my family, we've always used wild rice for our stuffing instead of your traditional bread stuffing. I never really cared for that, and we do try to stick more to whole grains. So what I do is I combine wild rice with brown rice. So you're getting more of a complex carbohydrate rather than, like a loaf of white bread. And I boil that in some chicken stock, and then I saute mushrooms and onions and just season it with a little bit of salt and pepper and mix it all together. And that's what I actually stuff my turkey with. And anybody who ever has it is just kind of blown away. Nobody's ever heard of that. And so that's just one way of incorporating wonderful traditional food and still keeping it a little more healthy too. So, and thank you very much for all of this. It was really fun doing this today.
That sounds delicious. Even though I said we shouldn't be deciding noon is lunchtime, I'm really getting hungry now. So that sounds really good. And does anyone else have anything they wanted to share about their traditions or use of traditional foods? I'm Sunshine, that white corn berry salad sounded delicious as well. Any other comments or thoughts? Okay, not hearing anything, and I didn't even notice we hit our hour, but I did just want to mention a couple things. First of all, thank you everyone for participating and for sharing some of your experiences and your traditions. We really appreciate that. I did mention that I put a few resources in the chat. You may have to scroll back a little bit, but if you want to check on those. Otherwise, feel free to let me know if there's anything from the session that you would like to see. We did record it, so we will put it out there for other people to see as well, or to watch it again. And really, I just want to say thank you guys for joining us. Hopefully today you've either had just it refreshed in your mind some of the things you can do over the holidays, or maybe you have one tip that you can do now going forward. But I really wish you a very healthy, happy holiday season. I know snow is leaving us, it sounds like today in the next couple of days with the 50s, but whatever you can do to make it a fun holiday season, I hope you guys all enjoy and can join us again next year for some more of our sessions. So thank you again. And let me just check quick. I had a chat. Oh, just another thank you. So again, happy holidays to everybody and take care.
I just want to say thank you too. It's my first time listening and you had some really good ideas.
Oh, thank you. We're
Happy
glad to hear
holidays.
that. And we're open to
Thank
other
you.
suggestions about topics. So if there's anything you think of, feel free to let me know, shoot me an email or whatever works. And thank you to our snack makers, so Larkin, Cassie, Casey, and Anita. Great job again. We really appreciate your efforts.
See yous.
Bye.
Happy holidays. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.